now tuned in to the Coach V Show.
Welcome to the Coach V Show, your show for personal development with expert insights and interviews to help you, me, and we work to be our best and live our best life. Bringing to you, the listener, all over the world on the Dash Radio app, on YouTube, or on my Facebook Live, as well as on Spotify. You can catch this segment in this show on the Coach V podcast. We bring to you success frameworks, behavioral models, and life lessons that you can now learn, consider, and deploy into what it is that you do in terms of life, leadership, and business. Here on Island City, on the Coach V Show, where iron sharpens iron, together we rise. Today, I am juiced to have my Uso that I grew up with in Pomona, California, Iona Uiagalelei. Coach Iona is now back at Mount Sac, and where he will serve once again as the defensive coordinator after spending 2 seasons in the Pac-12 conference as the defensive line coach at the University of Arizona. Coach Iona began his coaching career as a graduate assistant at his alma mater, Southern Utah, and his Mount Sac coaching career in 2001. In 2006, Uiagalelei took over defensive coordinator duties, and in 2010 became a full-time professor before leaving to the University of Arizona in 2018. Coach U has worked with a number of outstanding defensive players, including, and you will all know these names, Bruce Irvin, who went to West Virginia, ended up with the Seattle Seahawks and the Oakland Raiders, Bojay Filimoeatu, who ended up at Utah, and then also with the Oakland Raiders. My cousin Sol Tafisi, second-team All-American, and also ended up at Berkeley, played with the Seahawks and the 49ers, and is now the strength and conditioning coordinator, I believe, at the BYU University. Rulon Davis, who went to Berkeley, and Bernard Afutiti, the All-American at BYU. Coach Iona prepped at the Ganesha High School. Shout out G High, Ganesha High Giants, where he was an all Inland Valley and all CIF player. He attended Mount Sac 95 and 96, where he received all Mission Conference honors as a defensive lineman. Coach Iona transferred to the Southern Utah University and was selected to the D1 AA All-American team. Recorded record at Mount Sac for 5 years as the D-line coach, for 13 years as a defensive coordinator. Been in the California State and National Championship 5 years consecutively in a row. 6 times total, 12 conference championships, and 3 national championships, in where his defense and his rush defense led the state, only giving up a stingy 25 yards per game for 5 consecutive years. Currently, Coach Iona is coaching, training, and developing young football athletes in fundamentals, progression, stance, and effective technique in D-line play, which includes linebackers. He received his bachelor's in degree in criminal justice from Southern Utah University, and is probably the only Pomona mob brother and the only 909 brother that we hung out with back in the day that has also his master's in physical education. Coach U resides in Fontana with his beautiful and lovely wife, Narissa. Shout out to Narissa and the kids, his 5 children, Marosa, Antero, and sons Iona, Tafisi, and Levi. Coach V Show family, please welcome to the show, Coach Iona Uiagalelei. Coach Iona, thanks for coming on the show, bro.
Oh man, Coach V, I'm just so happy to be here, man, brother. And it's funny because talking to you, we grew up together, and
right.
Just I'm just saying, first and foremost, man, congratulations on all your success.
I appreciate it.
Bill, I listened to all your podcasts, listened to a lot of your speeches, and man, it's so awesome just to be encouraged, and definitely with somebody I grew up with and understand what the background where we come from. None was handed to us.
No,
we worked hard. We worked hard for what we were given, in terms of what we earned. But definitely, man, I'm just so happy to be here on the show. big fan. Love you, love your family. You know, your parents are like my parents, and you know, it's just watching everybody progress and watching you, Bill, and Coach V. You know, just continue to do great things. Continue to be positive. Very spiritual. You know, I always tell my brothers, I was like, man, I'm telling you, Coach V is going to change into Pastor V in a couple of years, man. Just listening to the way his messages and his encouragement, like, hey, you know what? A lot of spiritual, a lot of spiritual message in there. So I wouldn't be surprised when I see him coming with the sermons and kind of like Pastor V. That's his calling, man. But thank you for having me here. Glad to be here, man. Continue to do what I do, and meaning just always giving back.
No, I appreciate that, Iona. And just so I mean, when you and your brother found me on the blacktop at Roosevelt back in like 1990 something, and then dragged me around when I shouldn't have been on the BCR. I mean, I should have been a BCR star.
Yeah, no,
No, there's no way. There's no way. I couldn't put the ball in the bucket. I was all effort, didn't know what the hell to do. But you and your brothers just took me around, and Moy Tafisi took me around.
Right.
And
that's all we had.
I was a late bloomer, man, but you guys really introduced me to music, to just like worship. Your family, like you said, my parents were like your parents, man. Oh my goodness, your mom and dad were just amazing to me. Your brothers, your sisters were just amazing to me. So thank you for all the life lessons. I mean, you were the biggest cat in our class since we were like 6th grade, but you were also the best shooter, the best basketball player. You were the quarterback of the flag football team. And then the very next year, as a freshman and a sophomore, you were making all Inland Valley at D-line. Wait. I think it was who was it that one you played against, that one point guard from Pasadena? Was it Vaughn?
Jock Vaughn.
Jock Vaughn, as a freshman.
Yeah.
I was so out there playing point guard against Jock Vaughn.
He was doing me up, though. I was like, I don't care.
Bro, you were a freshman. Come on, Iona. You were a freshman, and football was your main sport, and you out there running around on the court.
Hey.
So thanks for just introducing this tetherball Roosevelt player to like sports.
You was fast, Bill. You were so athletic, man. That's why.
Iona, let's start here. Who are your parents? And talk about the Uiagalelei family and what's your genesis point. Let's start from where you were born, who your mom and dad is, and all that. Let's start there, Iona.
Right, you sure? I don't know if we have enough time, but well, my parents are Tabita and Tule Uiagalelei. I know my dad, David. We all our siblings, we were all born in Hawaii. Mm-hmm. We moved out to California. Story is, my dad came out first to get his Class A truck driving license.
Yeah.
He was supposed to get it and move back to Hawaii, but didn't know that through the school or the company he was going through to get his license. He didn't know that once you finish, they put you in a job right away. Right. So that's what happened. Got a job. He called my mom. Hey, pack the stuff up, bring the boys. We moved into California. So that's how we touched down in Pomona, California in May of 1986, man.
Wow.
Talk about a whole culture shock. We coming from Hawaii.
Right.
Bob, how you guys doing, Bob?
Yeah, right.
Those shoes, right. So we touched on Pomona when it was predominantly Black, before it just kind of, the dynamics changed, Hispanic, but, we never knew what gangs were, shooting. So we was in the heart of Pomona. We're in the city of, we're in a neighborhood called Sintown, Trey 57, Sintown, Gangsta Korea. So, but anyways, moved out here, didn't really play sports. The only sports we played in Hawaii was like baseball and dodgeball. We never played football and basketball. So we just we had to learn through our we had to with our surroundings. That's all they played in Pomona was basketball, football. So me and my brothers, and as Polynesian, it doesn't matter if you're Tongan, Samoan, Hawaiian, we are competitors. You already know that, Bill. So we don't like to lose. So even though we don't know the sport, we'll learn it. Just give me a week. We'll learn it. So we, basketball, we picked it up and learned it and became one of the top players in Pomona, basketball, football. So I come from a family of, I'm the second oldest. My oldest brother is David Uiagalelei. They know him as Big Dave. And then I'm second. And then my brother after me is Robert Uiagalelei. And after Robert is my youngest brother, Mao Uiagalelei. And then my sister, Ontario. So 4 boys, 1 girl. We all grew up as athletes, strong in the church because, as you know, Polynesian background, our faith is huge. We believe in God. We grew up in a Pentecostal church, Assembly of God, AOG. So in the church, my dad was a piano player. My mom was the lead singer of the worship team. So growing up, my dad, that's why I always laugh at that movie, Salinas. Remember when the dad went to the pawn shop and bought a bunch of instruments and just dropped it off. That's what my dad did.
Right.
We got guitar, bass, drums, keyboard, and hey, he dropped off in our living room. We were like 9 or 10 at the time, and we had to learn how to play. So, and in our church, singing and playing music was everything else. So that's all. My dad was a very strong disciplinary father. Typical Polynesian guy from the islands. Didn't really talk much because the way he was raised. But he worked and provided for us, so we didn't have to worry about anything. He just made sure that we did what we're supposed to do in terms of church, school, and family. That's basically the order that we grew up in. I mean, we grew up in Ville, in Pomona. We had a lot of buddies that we grew up with that was half street, half sports.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they had to choose. And we saw a lot of our buddies kind of fall off to the wayside in the gangs that, murdered or got, in jail. So I thank God, because like I said, for your parents, they're just like my parents. They loved us. They made sure that they gave us everything we needed, got us in sports. And like I said, we could have easily went down that avenue, but our parents were very, very, they ingrained that family and spiritual togetherness. And so, and I think the main thing of it all was I was more afraid of my dad than the gangsters and cops.
Real talk, all of us.
Right?
Yeah.
Right, all of us. So we, like I said, we touched down in Pomona in '86. We grew up, Coach V was one of the first poly kids that we met in Pomona with our other brother, Mo Tafisi, Sifa, the sister Anna, and there was another Samoan guy named Alafua Otine.
Yeah.
And remember our buddy Sila? Remember Thoma? Sila Thoma?
Yeah, Sila Thoma.
Sila Thoma, yeah. So, but that was it. It was just us, Bill.
Yeah,
it was just us. So we had to look out for each other. And Pomona was rough. I mean, it was a big time, in the 80s, crack scene, gangsters. We didn't have anybody that was in a mentorship for us, like we could look up to that looked like us. I mean, all we had was our parents, which they came from the island. They don't know what's up. So yeah, we weren't perfect, but we just thank God that God kept us away from a lot of the stuff that we could have easily fell into. We saw a lot of our buddies doing. So, but moved to been here in California since. We grew up with Ganesh High School. Me and Bill went to same middle school, Marshall Middle School, and we played sports. We did music. I was at Coach V's house, or he was at my house because Coach V played. They had instruments too now. I don't know if they know that, Bill. At I remember Bill's dad had the guitar, the drum set. And we used to go to Bill's house and he played in the front and then go play music in his house. You know,
Right.
so so that's how we end up in California, and we just now we're as we're older, have family, and a lot of our nephews and are blessed with the talent that and opportunity that we was able to help guide, and wishing that we had that same opportunity when we're at that age. I know we would have been a little bit further in terms of our athleticism, but hey, we all went to college and did our thing,
Yup.
our degrees, and now we're able to give back to our kids and our this generation, and be mentors, So, but pretty much that in a nutshell, that's my family. My parents are still live in Pomona. We were the only poly family in Sintown. Like,
Yes, right.
so everybody knows, and they know the house in Pomona, the Sintown. That's where all the Samoan guys over there, all the brothers. Because
Yeah, on
nobody messed
Avalon,
with
on Avalon, baby.
on Avalon. Hey, a lot
Yeah.
of people know our family, man. Whoever we were social and act with, and they all know. Hey, you been to the Avalon house? They know us, and we don't lock our doors. We don't, man. Nobody. Man, we up all night, 2 in the morning, back in when we were younger days, running on the street.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely, man. Just think, I thank our parents, Coach V, is because I remember your dad and your mom. It was like my parents,
Right.
coming. They did their best, to try to provide and give us everything we needed, and their support, especially at our high school games. I always remember that one game against Charter Oak. You know what I'm talking about, where man, my dad wanted to at halftime. He was trying to, grab the refs. He was upset at them, and then when we came second half and we started winning, and I just remember looking on the side on the field. I mean the track. Remember the football field was surrounded
Yeah,
by the
yeah.
track. Your dad had the high school flag running. Man, I remember your dad was like, man, he's an older guy, but he still can move. He was running with the flag, but
Right.
I mean, that's how much love, man, our parents had for us. They didn't know any better, or they weren't raised out here. All they know is, hey, they're gonna be there for us. You know, through bad or good, they're always gonna be there for us, man. That's what I love about our parents. So, and now we're at that age where we've been through it. We've experienced a lot of things that we can give back to our kids. Um, I'm just happy what I'm doing now in terms of coaching and developing. Having a lot of fun doing it. Just be able to watch these, especially a lot of these kids, um, get better and develop wise, and in terms of their skills and their ability and their confidence level is what I love.
Right. Right.
You know, and that's the biggest part is that confidence level, getting them to be, have confidence in themselves to go out there and compete. And once they see themselves getting better, not just athletically and physically, but they mentally, they're getting very confident that they're competing more. They don't have that hesitant, feeling like when they first came out and started training with me. But I just love watching the progression and the development, at a young age, because I develop and coach ages from 9 years old all the way up to NFL.
Right. Right.
And I just, like I said, this pandemic for me was the biggest thing that brought out because I've been coaching for a long time, but I've been only just doing, my college coaching. I've never trained outside of college or outside of my players. But when this pandemic hit and I came back from Arizona, kind of everything shut down. SAC shut down. So I was working at a facility where my son was attending, and it was still open in the pandemic. And people, players, D1 guys, athletes, NFL guys were all coming back into town. and they saw me working with a couple with my son, and they were like, "Hey, coach, can you work?" So that's how I got into this coaching and developing deal. And I started coaching them, and I started kind of, wait, this is fun. And I started, more kids started coming over, and
Right.
Just giving back at that. And and to me, it's kind of, I see why. A lot of people ask me, man, coach, man, I didn't know you can, but they knew I was a coach, but
Right.
nobody ever seen me actually work, unless you play for me at the college level.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They just know, but then when they see me developing and like, man, coach, I didn't know, man. You're so like, well, and then I'm thinking, man, I should have done this a long time ago, in terms of giving back, and the other reason why too, like I said, what is just the pandemic is just because my son now, he's at an age where I got to be involved now. He's 12, when he started, he was about 11, 12. Now, hey, I want to be part of his development. I want to be part of his journey. And I just started working with him, and he's bringing a lot of his buddies to come get some work. And then it's funny, Coach V, is a lot of our generation, guys we grew up with.
That's right.
Have boys in them, they have kids themselves. And I'm like, a lot of these kids coming, I don't know who's their dad. And they tell me, hey, coach, my dad, man, that's so what? And I'm like, yeah, man, I know your dad. I play with all these kids are like, man, I play with all your dads.
Right.
So that's the cool part about it. It's like, man, I'm glad I'm coaching, helping a lot of kids that I know, our friends and our families that we grew up with. So it's been exciting, man. It's been exciting just being part of this development world, and it's kind of it's kind of been blowing up now. With my brother, especially with my nephews. Everybody knows. My nephew DJ Uiagalelei, he's a quarterback at Clemson. With his journey, his status now, it's that great kid, very humble.
Mm-hmm.
That's my oldest brother's son, brother David. With him, and then with now my other nephew Mateo, his younger brother's now, 5-star, getting all the accolades, and he's just working with him. Mateo's one of my main kids that I train with my son, and there's a lot of just a lot of good things coming out.
Yeah.
And I'm just happy that I'm able to give back in terms of not just my time, but just all my knowledge, just
Right.
trying to pour in these young, especially the Polynesian kids. I always think back at our age, Coach V, when we were that age, we had to learn on our own. We had nobody that looked like us, that we could relate to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? That's okay. That's life. Sometimes it just makes you that much more, eager, more to get out there to learn. And we
Right.
we have to figure things out.
You had to figure it out. That's right.
Nothing wasn't really that easy given to us, but now we do those, through those mistakes and happy times that we can, that experience we can give back to our younger generations now and help them, hopefully not make a lot of mistakes we made, in terms of not just through the athletic part about it, but just, through life, translate a lot of your hard work ethics, just work ethics, and just making good decisions, little things at home, translate all through whatever you want to do in life. You know what I mean? So it's been fun. I love doing it. And it helps, like I said, just with the all the status with my nephew, and Big Dave. You would think that he's a superstar now.
Right.
Dave. But I look at it, I see you, Coach B, and even my other brothers out there doing it. PTP, Coach Penn, Talmai Wow,
Coach Chris.
Coach Chris, Giant Skills. Shout out to my brothers. And, it's like we talked about, Bill, a lot of people don't even know that we all come from the same place.
Yeah,
we all grew up together. A lot of these kids, and they don't get the connection. Like, we all from Pomona. We all was in the same garage, riding in the same van, going to the same basketball.
Brown van.
Brown van, right?
We all been in the van.
All been in that van. Like I think about it. Bill was in that van. Chris was in that van. Penn, me, Dave. And I just watching these all our brothers just being successful, man. PTP, Giant Skills, Coach V show, watching you, man. It's so fun, and it's, like I said, I love it, man. I love seeing our brothers be successful.
Yeah, everybody's doing some good things, so I look forward to having those guys on the show too. And it was interesting because I just interviewed Alma.
Right. Alma too.
Paulie. So shout out all Paulie. And
Paulie, baby.
Mentioning to him, he goes, "For real?" I was like, "Yeah, man. We're all at Ganesha together."
Right.
So, man, what a story, Iona. So let's go back from when you just came over from Hawaii. So you just came over from Hawaii, landed in Sintown. Iona, what's a life lesson that you could help parents really navigate if they had to leave, right? Like one of the kids that I've seen, because I've seen the kids, I've come down and saw the scrimmages, like you're working with Danny Kongaika's kid, you're working with Devita Suyaku's kid, you're working with Siwa Stanley's kid, JJ Stanley, you're working with, and then you're also working with like the number one D lineman from every class that's going to SC, or before we get to that, I think that's just amazing. And that's like the Hollywood gloss that everyone wants to hear. But I want to hear, and I think parents need to hear. So when you move from Hawaii to here, how can you help your kids acclimate, assimilate, learn, transform, and change to fit into that new place? Because a lot of us, like you and me, Big Dave, Ito, Tafisi, I mean, I could just go down the list of the guys that have been around Mount Sac, have been around Pomona, that we had to just jump in the deep end and figure it out.
Right.
But so what are some life lessons that you could give as a kid that came from Hawaii, where it's all pigeon? I mean, you get down to the 909 in Sintown, and it is slang, Mexican slang, ghetto slang, hardcore. Man, I mean, Sintown, the only place that had no theft in Sintown was your house. Don't nobody want to come steal from the house, right? And everybody was just cool. They knew you guys were athletes. You guys were people of faith. Your mom and dad were amazing to me and so many other people. But so let's start with Hawaii. Coming from Hawaii to Sintown, what did you learn that you could offer to parents about, hey, let kids transform, help them, support them? What are some life lessons from that, Coach Iona?
I think when just thinking about it right now, the times are a little bit way different now.
Yep.
During our generation, because I look at Hawaii, because I've been in Hawaii, they're pretty much up to speed in terms of camps and understanding, a lot of the parents now are kind of more familiarized and they're a little bit more hip to the game in terms of when they get here. A lot of them already pretty much have a plan where they're going to send their kids to, versus, when I got here, back in the 80s, way different.
Yeah, we're just trying to survive. Right, Iona?
Right.
Yeah.
We just got out here. Remember our parents, we're probably for almost first generation. Our parents came from the islands, so all they knew was coming out here to California, that, as all Polynesians think that, USA, America is a, land of, opportunity and, milk and honey. So, that's all they know. They don't know the other parts that in terms of getting an athletic scholarship training. So, come just forwarding to now, I think more of the parents understand coming, like, especially from Hawaii, coming out here, just, I think they got a better idea in terms of, what what type of training or what type of what they're getting themselves into versus when we got here. 'Cause like you said, we were just we didn't know nothing. Cause I speak with a lot of parents that come make the move from Hawaii out here, and almost 90% of them already have an idea where this kid's going to go to school at, because they want to basically they're bringing their kid out here because they want the kid to get a little bit more better exposure in terms of the high school leagues, go to Trinity leagues, or. But I would say, for me, if I was talking to these parents coming out here, this generation, just have a plan. Understand, that when you come out here, I'm pretty sure a lot of them already have connections out here in terms of family members or friends. Come out here and know what you're gonna do. Have your plan. Don't just come out here and just understand why you coming out here. Kind of navigate and do some homework before you come out here. There's so many schools now in terms of just be able to get the exposure that they need. So many training facilities now. You know what I mean? So I think it's a little. I think a lot different.
Yeah, great point.
Right. Just coming from our generation to these kids now. Now the parents are our age. Most of the parents, they're pretty Americanized. They understand, how to maneuver out here versus our parents back then. They just want to come out here and just get a good job and work, not knowing the opportunities that they have for us. You know what I mean? But I will say that the parents, coming out here, right now, the Polynesian commodity in terms of sports is high. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Take advantage of it, because every school, every institution is looking for poly players and athletes. So you got opportunity. So
That's a great point. Have a plan, stay focused on that plan, and
right.
Process.
You're right. Right.
The process is the process. Ain't nobody giving nobody shit, despite the fact that your kid is a blue chip or 5-star, right? Because I'm talking to a guy that set that standard for me. Ever since I've known Coach Iona, he's always been an all something, all league, all valley, all American. You're the first guy that ever introduced that to me. Like real talk, like when I say I met you guys on the blacktop, and you guys were riding that. You and Big Dave were riding that beach cruiser that you guys took apart 2 beach cruisers in. I didn't even think competition. Like, ever since I started hanging around you, yes, I've been very fortunate to win championships. You have been to multiple championships. You've been in the Pac-12. You've coached. The accolades and the people that you've coached that have won Lombardi Trophy or been to the NFL. But it's interesting, right, Iona? Like, you didn't have that. So what's the life lesson that you could offer an aspiring player or a person that wants to succeed in business? Like, because you're a trainer, your nephew's got that training. My son, he's going to be ready to go. Whether he performs will take time, but his preparation in terms of what he needs to think about, how he needs to feel, right? And therefore, it's going to highly increase his probability for effective behavior, performance, execution, right?
Right.
But Iona, you didn't have none of that.
I know.
Everywhere we went in junior high, you won the MVP trophies. BC All-Star, right? Right away, you were the first one. You and Big Pen were the first ones to get pulled up as sophomores. I had to play JV a little while my sophomore year before I came up, and you made all league those years. Then you made all valley as a junior. Then you went to Mount Sac and made all conference, all American. You could have went to some other places, but both of us lacked the discipline back then. Right. So what is the life lesson that, hey, if you either get the training, that's going to definitely increase the probability.
Right.
But if you don't have the access to training like we didn't even have that kind of awareness, let alone we didn't have the money.
None at all.
Right?
Right.
But we didn't even think like that. We went to the weight room and did the same lifts. We ran the bleachers. You know, we didn't have ladders like they do now. I mean, that stuff is littered all over the place. But what's the life lesson that made Coach Iona that now you have this valuable experience, like this grind? But what would you call it? What's the life lesson that was always the X factor for you, Iona? What is that?
No, my thing is, ever since growing up, Bill, I've always, and I always tell people, because I was always a short, chubby brother.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm always a short, chubby brother. My brother Dave, Rob, they were all the tall guys. So I had to work wherever I went, be able to get my spot. It wasn't given to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it was so funny, you know, Bill, I picked that up at a very young age.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah.
You know, but I'm serious. Like, even when my brother and I were younger, like, I'm talking about like 5 years old, 6.
Oh, you guys would almost fight when I saw you guys in junior high.
Right.
Like, you guys would be like fighting. We're playing 21, and I'm like,
yeah, we're fighting, competing. Yeah,
competing, right?
Yeah, we have the same in amongst my brothers and I. We, you know, even Ito, we always talk about it. We always we go to the courts as brothers, but we leave as mortal enemies.
I think I brought that to the courts I play with up here in
You do it too,
on accident.
But what I'm saying is, I learned that young, because when my brother Dave didn't know that. When we were younger, he used to get picked on. He didn't understand what the kids were doing to him. You know what I mean? I knew it. I knew it. I was always fighting for my brother. When we were younger, I was always like standing. He didn't really understand what was going on. Until we got older, he figured it out. But I think I had that innate, whatever the word, you know. Feel like real quick. So that carried on with me as I got, you know, as we're growing up and led into sports. My thing, like you said, we didn't have the training, but no one was going to outwork me, Bill. That's one thing I knew. I don't know. I had that. That's why I would say us Polys, you know, Polynesian, man, we have that competitive, that inner, just violent. To me, it's like that violent, competitive nature. That I don't know where to put it, but I had that growing up, wherever I went, no one was going to outwork me. No one, you know, when I kind of just, you know, measure the competition and knowing okay. Even like I said, moving to Pomona, we didn't play basketball, you know, but our surroundings, we had to adapt to our
Everybody hoops. Yeah,
everybody was hooping.
Yeah, that's right.
Everybody was hooping. So I took it to like, oh, okay, I'm gonna just give me a week. You know, we just learn, and I just had that in me, and growing just in my nature. You know me. A lot of people know me as I'm quiet, funny. Right. You know, that's my kind of my just portray my way of just okay. But you guys laugh over it, but inside I'm gonna beat everybody in here. No one's gonna outwork. You know what I mean? Right. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. You know, just as a coach, you know, I took that with everything I do.
Yes, sir.
You know, and school and in a job workforce, understanding. You know, I'm gonna just look. I'm not. No, yeah, I know we're all here. We're all bad. You know, but I'm gonna outwork everybody. Even though, you know, we had some. You know, that's why I always say I wish we had the a lot of the training that these kids have now.
Oh man,
all these resources they have, Bill. And you put it. That's funny because you're right. We did the same lifts. We ran bleachers. Thought we were, you know, but you know, at the same time,
right? Yeah,
that's all we knew. That's all we knew, and we weren't flashy or we coming from the hood, man. You know, our parents didn't have no money. You know, we coming from where me and my brothers, we had to, share clothes.
Right.
We had to walk, and we only had like 1 or 2 pair of jeans each, or so we have to just kind of rotate it around during the week, in the shoes and all that. So, but that's one thing I know for myself. Is I had that discipline in terms of I'm gonna outwork everybody. I refuse to be average. I always want to, be above average, and
Right.
that's just, I'm not trying to boast or.
No, you're not. Because let me boast for you, right? Junior high, you were all everything. When we got as sophomores, right, I had to play JV for like 3 games.
Right.
And I was just learning football still. I was
I know.
You know what I mean? I was getting my ass ran over all freshman year, right? But then just like, cause being around you and being around Boy, cause the D lineman, but you and Penn, sophomore year, y'all were starting. And then Seahawks kind of grabbed onto that. Sophomore, Seahawks was rolling with us on varsity.
Right.
Our junior year.
Yeah.
I mean, you were always that. I mean, you'd be funny with us, but everybody else, they were like, man, we ain't messing with Iona. You know what I mean? But then when it was time to work, and that was what separated you, because your talent was great, but your preparation was amazing. Like, you would just work, and you weren't scared, because that's the one thing about D lineman and O lineman. Your opponent is right in front of you, right? 6 inches from you. So you got to be a dog, and nobody taught us how to strike, separate, to read blocks. All we did was just will and desire and hard work. So you were like one of the best ever. So I've been around Tyrone Crawford. So Tyrone Crawford was a D-line captain for the Dallas Cowboys.
Bojay State. I remember.
He came through Bojay State. Ryan Winterswike. I mean, I could go down the list. Ryan Clady was a first-round pick. I've been around great competitors that are first-round draft picks that are big-time players. And Iona, you and Eric are still amongst the most talented and hardworking people that I've ever known in any industry. And that's why I wanted you to come on the show, because
I appreciate that.
People need to hear that from a person who's a teacher and a trainer and a coach for NFL, D1 prospects and major D1 guys, right? That his deal was what, Iona? What was your deal? Hard work and what else? Just tell us exactly.
Just hard work and out competing everybody. That, I'm just being honest. That's because you have to have that type of characteristic. How you not gonna want, just I talk to my linemen, like, you gotta learn to compete. You gotta be a little, I'm not, I'm not the smartest. I'm pretty sane, but when we out in this field, you gotta have a little kind of an off button,
And
you
so
gotta ready
everybody in the industry, Coach Iona, they call it that Mamba mentality, right?
And Mamba, right.
That's that Iona mentality back then. Because I remember going all the way to watch that mirror game, that Pasadena mirror game, because you're my boy. And then it's like, you came down against Jacques Vaughn and you shot a 3, like off the bat. You're just like, you're a freshman. You're like, let's go.
I had no conscience.
Yeah, right. And be willing to live with the consequences of failure, or talk about that, Coach Iona.
Right. So basketball, football, a lot of people don't understand that basketball was my main sport. Like a lot of people think they only know me as football. But my brothers like you, Bill, and a lot of my guys I grew up with, they always used to tell me, Iona, if you would have just stuck to basketball, and you could have been one of, I love basketball.
Right.
But it don't matter, basketball, football, like I said, no one's gonna outcompete me. I'm gonna come out there, I'm gonna outwork everybody. I don't care who you put in front of my face. Like I said, Jacques Vaughn was a dude. Everybody was talking.
Major blue chip, all American.
I didn't care. Like, before the game, I was right when the buzzer went off, man, you just another victim to me. I don't care who you are.
Right, real talk.
You know what I mean?
And you
Right.
did that. And you did that in football.
Yeah.
I mean, other than I just remember us getting our ass beat the first 5
Right.
games of our sophomore year. Remember
Sophomore
that?
year.
And we turned it around and won league that
In
year.
one league.
And we
Right.
got smacked up by some dogs. I mean, Norco,
Right.
Indio,
Yeah.
Riverside Poly. And
Riverside.
we just weren't there. But
Right,
man,
right.
going through that failure. Coach Iona, we come to the segment of the show
Okay.
that
Yep,
we
yep.
would love to know. Coach Iona, what's your message to the world? What's a message Coach Iona has for the world?
I just said to the world, just be respectful, be obedient, have a short memory in terms of everyone makes mistakes.
Yep.
Nothing's perfect. Understand that you'll get it, you have another opportunity to make it right. Work hard, do your best to my thing, Bill, because I've been through a lot
Right.
of downs, a lot of up and downs, and what's been the common denominator in terms of always bringing my spirits up and always have a connection spiritually with. It doesn't matter if you believe in Christ or what. I've always had him as part of the Lord, as part of always in my life.
Amen.
Because there was a lot of trust me, and I know a lot. It don't show. There's a lot of times that I go through struggles and I go through.
Amen.
So have some place to draw your strength from. I always like tell people I draw my strength, and this, Brother Bill, because we all our spirits is probably the same. As Jesus Christ. As my strength, Savior, and so that's the one big part of what I always try to teach and just share with a lot of my players and my colleagues, and they can take it anywhere they want to, but I just always made it a point because I know everyone goes through struggles, no matter. I don't want to care how much success, or you're gonna go through those rough patches where just the decision right there can either make it or break you. You got to make a good, find a positive place to draw your strength, to lift you up. That's that's the thing I always thank my parents that ingrained that in our minds, and in our lives, so. But with that said, always continue to keep working hard. Just continue to always don't plateau. Don't. There's always room to better yourself. Surround yourself, especially, God, with people of faith, people with goals. People with that's always trying to better themselves. I think that's huge. In terms of your growth and what a lot of people want to, increase, their job status or move up. I would be with people that are good people of faith, always that's always have goals and be able to encourage each other. So I mean, I know there's a lot, but I'm just.
No, but all of those things matter, yeah.
Right.
Everybody wants the one thing, right? But it's really a combination of a multitude of things.
Right.
That need to be combined and deployed, to be able to go.
Right.
I think that's a great message, Iona. Thank you so much for sharing that. In that, Iona, how can people get a hold of you, and what are you doing right now? So I know you're the D coordinator back at Mount Sac. Are you teaching again on campus?
Right now in the fall I'll be back on campus.
And then, so if someone wants to hire you, how do people hire you? And then what are you doing so people know what you're doing, so they know what services it is that you offer, Coach?
So right now, when I'm currently at Mount Sac as a defensive coordinator. With the pandemic kind of been lifted a little bit, so we've been allowed back on campus a certain amount of days a week, and a couple hours a day, and and we're getting more and more on campus. And so I'm there, and also I train. It's called my training. It's called the front.
The front, yes, sir.
Call it the front, because as linemen know, they always hear that term. It starts up front, or it's one up front, and that's both sides of the ball.
Yes, sir.
I typically, trained on the defense side, but we also have offensive line coaches that do the front. I'm on social media. It's called the front on Twitter. I'm also connected with. So my brother and I and some of his partners opened up a facility in Utah, called Champion.
Congratulations!
Yeah. So it's located in West Jordan, Draper, Utah. It's a great facility. We just started up there. So I'm not sure yet right now. I'm kind of if I'm kind of transitioning, maybe be going out there to help run it for a bit. But I'm predominantly here in California. So I train, I do special, development in terms of position skills, D-line position skills and linebackers from the age of 9 until, I got some college guys, NFL guys come in. But I'm Monday through Thursday training. Just look me up. A lot of people have my Twitter. Or I'm on social. It's called The Front. DM me. Depending on what age your kid you want to come get trained, let me know. We train on Monday through Thursday in the evenings. And keep doing it. I love what I'm doing. Definitely, we just want to, promote, like I said, the front. It's called the front, and also Champion Sports Athletics in Utah.
That's awesome, Iona. What about shout outs, Coach Iona? Who would you like to shout out?
Shout outs right now. Shout out to first, my brother Big Dave, been a real big supporter on for me and what I'm doing. Love my brother. Trust me. I know a lot of people. Big Dave. He's got a loud, big personality, but he's got an even bigger heart.
Right on.
You know what I mean? And shout out to Adam Tello out there in Championship Sports Athletics. He's the one that's kind of running the day-to-day operation. And Pat Foley also out there doing big things in Utah. Alma Mater, all Poly Sports, for his support and help in terms of what we're doing out in Utah. Just big shout out to you, of course, Coach V, for allowing me to be able to come on this show. And then, just to my family, my wife, my children, they're just enjoying the ride right now. I think of, just all the good people that's been a part of this journey, and just all coaches out in Mount Sac, Coach Jab, Bobby Purcell, Coach B, Coach Leroy Johnson, all those guys that have been family to me, not just coaches, but we've been family. We've been riding together. And shout out to my brother-in-law, Coach Junior Tanavasa, now the defensive coordinator out in Western New Mexico. Happy for him, and he's going to do great things out there. So, yep. Appreciate it, Coach.
No, I appreciate it, Iona. Iona, before we go, you've heard this term before, and this is a Pomona term, right, from Sugar Free. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready, right? Come on, Iona. What's your thought when I say that? Take 30 seconds to a minute.
Just have all your stuff in row, man. Always be ready. Always stay ready. Don't have to. If you stay ready, when the time comes up and it's your number call, you don't have to be looking around getting out. You already ready. You know what I mean? Just make sure that you got all your ducks. Take time to just prepare. It's all about preparation in life and goals, the job force. Always prepare, as athletes, prepare the night before in terms of your equipment, everything you need, if you have a game or practice next day, have everything prepared, man, because when it's time to go, you it don't matter what time or whatever they call your name or your number, you ready to go. That's what we live by out Pomona, sugar free.
Yeah, shout out Sugar Free, shout out Pomona.
Pomona, right.
And then Iona, what about some of the the championship defenses that you had? And you cracked me up because you said prior to our recording, it's like, V, I mean, people brought up, for 5 years straight, your defense only gave up 25 rushing yards per game. And you were like, did we win a national championship? No, then it don't matter. But in saying that, because it's all about, I mean, in the Sarah scheme, both of us grew up, with the Sarah scheme. I went to Davis, where really the origination of the quarters and all that, but it was all about stopping the run. And in junior college, for 5 straight years, to only average 25 yards. Where in junior college, man, it's average to have one person on the other team average 225 yards a game. I mean, you think about the running backs that came through Mount Sac, Pasadena, CC, Long Beach, CC. I could just go down because Southern California has more junior colleges than like 15 other states combined.
Right.
So like, what does it take to have that type of mentality and scheme to only hold a team per average 25 yards? That's stingy as hell.
Right.
It's a mentality and a scheme. How do you do that, Coach? How do you stop a team to only average 25 yards a game?
Well, first of all, I'll be honest with you, is recruit
That's right.
Players than other guys.
What else, Coach? What else?
But man, have that like the Mamba dog mentality. I had some. There was some wars at our practice. A lot of players always used to tell me at Mount Sac, they said, Coach, I worked harder and got hurt more in our practice than the game days. And I tell them preparation, all in preparation. You know what I mean? So when you play that game day, it's like nothing to you. It's like, wait a minute, this is it. Yeah, I think that's why we go hard. Prepare and understand that we're not giving up nothing. We go in that game with the mentality that we're gonna out-hit, outrun. I'm pretty sure you hear. We talk to your guys and out-hustle everybody. And that's the type of mentality that we always call it the sack dog mentality.
Yeah.
All guys sack, you got that sack dog mentality, and when you say that, they know exactly what you're saying. And it's not just being said, but you also put it in action, and that comes with preparation, practice every day. What we do in order to mirror that in the game, and it shows. Right. You know what I mean? And it starts with your coaches. It starts with the mentality is your coach mentality, because you have to have the mentality as a coach to be able to pass it on to your players. Because your players, I always tell guys, your players are your best, like the best reference in terms of if you want to know about a coach, don't go ask another coach go ask the players. The players will tell you exactly who you are. You know what I mean? And with that said, I know, but that's what's the problem having right now with these players jumping in the portal at this level, because a lot of these players don't have the relationship with their position coach.
Right. And
at that level, it's tough. A lot of these D1 guys, it's more about how they look or the image.
Right.
Instead of, dude, be real with your players.
Right.
Be transparent with them, because once you're transparent with them and you're honest with them, those cats are gonna buy in and they'll go through the wall for you. And no matter what time of the night or what time of the day you call him up, them dudes gonna come right. Coach, I got your back. You're gonna go do it. So that's the mentality I always have with my guys. They know me. I'm transparent fully with them. If I know I'm wrong, I tell them. I don't try to sugarcoat or play games with them, because once you do that, the players, you already know, Coach. Players know that you're not really genuine. Yeah. So they're gonna be the same way with you. They're gonna play the stupid game with you and not give you their all. Yeah, and you know what I mean. So that's the type of mentality. That's why I'll be honest with you. That's why my guys been dominant those years at Mount Sac.
Yeah, that's all.
They know wherever they need me, they can call me. I'm gonna be right there with them. So.
And then from a schematic standpoint, right? You're almost daring the offense to pass it, but you are not going to run the ball.
No, you're not going to
run. You got
run.
to have that weak side safety that can come to drop down and be the 8th man in the box.
Right.
And then you need guys to get off freaking blocks and go make plays, right?
Make plays.
So you got to trust your players. But as a play caller, coach, how tough is that? Because they got your back, so you can make those kind of plays and just call, Sarah 4, right?
4, right.
And just let them figure out according to how they come out. And then, okay, I dare you to throw deep. And think that my 4 guys can't get to you on a pass rush, right? What does that feel like as a coach to know that you can call that and just stop the run? That feels so good, Coach.
It feels great.
What your mentality is.
So it feels great, first of all. And you have this mindset of like, hey, you know what? No, we're gonna be aggressive. That's my thing. And I'm telling you, and I never really, like I said, I need to do a lot more self scouting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But a lot of people that know when you play Coach Iona, those cats will come after that food. Pressures, 1 high, 0.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I want to pressure. I want to get the ball.
Yeah.
So and then I'm blessed. I was always blessed to have those 4 dogs up front just to play.
Man.
Play.
You look like you had 8 some season.
Yeah.
Right? 8, like 2 deep. That was just Division 1 guys.
And then I could just play soft zone in the back 3, in the back end, just have those 4 guys go eat. And it's great when you can do that. And most of the time I could do that, because so I was in charge, those are my guys up front. We slanted. I'm all about penetration. We always want to make sure our linebackers play off of us up front. We'll knock it back to them. But we want to, my front, we're going upfield. We penetrate no matter what. We're slanting. But I just wanted, I wanted just pressure, stop the run, frustrate that offensive coordinator. You think twice. You better not try to run the ball. You better go spread them out. And then, when he going, to a spread, throw the ball, then we pin our ears back. I got the guys up front that they can't block my.
Yeah. That's awesome.
No, it's a great feeling, Coach. In terms of just taking that heart away from that, because as offensive coordinators, they want to have it to run. They want, and that first play, boom, 5-yard loss. All right, spread it out. I always want to disrupt and make them play my game, not have them make me play their game. You know what I mean? And it's I'm telling you, it's been 3 years since I've called a defense, and it's kind of been like, man, I can't wait. I know what I want to run. I know terms of
yeah.
You know what I mean?
You are always like that. Like what you want to do.
Yeah,
that just helps, because a lot of people, they kind of dabble here and there in terms of what they really are all about. And I look forward to coming down and watching those games. Coach Iona, thank you so much for coming on the show, sharing the wealth of your experiences and your knowledge, and just telling your story, because there's so many people out there that are going to hear your story and say, why not me? Right. And that's really what we're looking for. And to inspire and empower and give people some tools in terms of a mindset, right? Where you said, hey, man, have a plan. Go out there and compete. And if you want Coach Iona to have an experience and have your kid come and experience what it's like to be coached by a championship person and a championship coach that coaches people in the NFL that have won Super Bowls, that play at the Division I levels, hit him up on the front. You can find him on all social media. And then he'll also be out there in Utah with Champion Sports Athletics with his boys, Big Dave, Adam Tello, then Pat Foley. And then also, you can also find him if you're a recruit. So my nephew, his whole football approach changed, because I called Iona. He came back from Arizona. I was like, Sully, I need help, man. My nephew just needs some help. And because he was great. He's a hustler and he
Love JJ.
Yeah, JJ
Love him.
Scottley, his
Yeah.
game really upped, and I look for some great things for him. And so, Iona, I just want to wish you and Narissa, and to see the type of young lady that you're raising, both of you. I mean, is she in college now? Your daughter, your oldest?
She's graduated already 2 years ago.
She graduated from Utah, right? She graduated.
Yeah,
was that last spring?
Last year, yeah.
Last
spring.
year?
Right.
I mean, to see Coach Iona, and then your youngest, and then your mid boy from Pomona, Sintown, rocking that gold chain. Iona, you have a beautiful family. And of all the championships that either of us have experienced, I mean, the championship family with, your daughter's graduated from college. We're going into junior high. My daughter.
Right, I know. I see the kids.
You know what I mean? What a championship family it is that you're raising, Iona. And I want to shout out to your parents. Just thank you to Avita and your mom.
Thank you
for just being so kind to me. And it'd be so funny because your mom would scream at you and be like, "Hey, Bill, you need anything?
Yeah.
You want me to come in? Iona, Dad." And they'd be like, "Oh, no, don't worry, Bill. Just go eat. Go ahead."
Yeah,
like,
they love it.
So kind to me. And then shout out to Taro, your brother's mom just got his master's.
Right.
Robert doing his thing. Being on freaking commercials. And all that. That's like amazing.
I know.
Big Dave. So thank you so much, Iona, for coming on the Coach V Show. And for all of you, thank you so much for tuning in all over the world on the Dash Radio app, wherever it is that you are, whether you're in Europe, Hawaii, and all our big-time listeners in Las Vegas, Southern California, specifically San Diego and Hawaii. Love you. Thank you so much. Tune into the YouTube channel and please subscribe. You can also catch this episode on Spotify on the Coach V Show. It'll just say with Coach Iona. That'll release tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So thank you so much for tuning in. And for all of you, the reason why we do things like this, and I'm all about my radio show, is just not for the sake of success, but for the sake of being our best. In doing so, we realize the best of our abilities and that everything, anything that you dream and work for can be achieved. This is how this success coach, keynote speaker, author, and Hollywood radio host lives, all about faith and family, grateful for God's amazing grace. From your boy, championship coach, former Pac-12 coach, and now coach, trainer, and personal and football development coach of the front, Coach Iona Uiagalelei, and your boy, until next Motivation Monday here on the Coach V Show, where iron sharpens iron. Together we rise. From Coach Iona and Coach V. God bless. And nice. Peace.
All right, brother.